What's up guys, my name's Luke and welcome back to Motion and Design. So today we're going to be doing this cloth tear effect. It's going to act as like a reveal to reveal your product by tearing the cloth away from it. This isn't going to be the most complicated tutorial, it'll be pretty beginner friendly, so you should be able to follow along. I'm also going to break this into two parts. In the first part, I'm going to show you guys how to do the simulations, and in the second part, we're going to do some camera movement and some lighting. So yeah, if you like this type of content, please consider liking and subscribing. And yeah, if you're interested in the project files, they'll be up on my Patreon. So yeah, please consider subscribing over there and supporting me like that. It really does help and it really means a lot. But yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. Cool, so I've got this shoe model over here. This is provided by my friend Alexandra over here. He makes some really amazing content. So yeah, please consider like supporting him and following him. The project file will include the shoe model that he has created for us. And yeah, let's get into it. Cool, so you can use any model that you want just for the purpose of this tutorial, and for my patrons that are following along, we're going to be using this shoe over here. So it's pretty simple. I've just modified it a bit to make it a little bit more sporty just by using an FFD deformer and a bend modifier just to create the look that I'm going for. But that's not really important for you guys. Cool, so let's create a duplicate of the shoe and let's hide the original shoe. So what we initially want to do when we're doing something like this, so if we press NB over here, it's a pretty nice mesh, but I think it's usually good to create a proxy mesh, especially when you're using like cloth or simulations or colliders. So what we're going to do with our shoe right now is we're going to create a initial mesh that's going to act as a collider, and then we're going to create another mesh that's going to act as the cloth. So how we're going to do that is we're going to put this in a volume builder and a volume mesher. Let's go over here into the builder and set the voxel size to 2. And this looks great. The only other thing we want to do is we want to increase the size of this, because if we show the other shoe, you'll see that it's like intersecting and that doesn't look really great. So inside the volume mesher, let's increase the voxel range to something like 65, and this should fully encompass the shoe. Cool, so this looks good. The only problem is that if we press NB, this is terrible. The topology is terrible. So let's go and throw this into a remesher. Awesome, now that it's remeshed, we can see that we have a nice mesh over here. This might be an issue, but I think it should be fine. We can always add a thicken onto the cloth afterwards. But yeah, right now we're gonna use this. You can keep this procedural if you wanted to, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm not gonna keep it procedural. I'm gonna go connect objects and delete. I don't know why that happened, but there we go. We're back to normal. I think it's my deformers. But yeah, there we go. And let's call this collider. Let's do that exact process again. And this time we're going to create the cloth. So let's go volume builder, volume mesher, set this to 2. And over here, we want to set this something kind of high, like maybe 80, maybe 85 even. Yeah, I think that looks good. Let's throw this into a remesh. And with this one, we're going to keep it procedural. Just because I think it's nice to keep things procedural in case you wanted to change something later down the line. Cool, so I think this looks great. This is going to act as our cloth over here. So let's call this cloth. Yeah, you're more than welcome to do the exact same thing, connect objects and delete if you're happy with the mesh, but I think it's usually good to try and keep it procedural as much as possible. So let's go over here and let's go simulations cloth. Let's add a collider tag onto our collider object, and let's just press play to see what happens. Cool, so as you can see, it falls down and it covers the shoe, which is what we want, and I think that looks good right now. But I don't really want it to be falling down. I want it to be flying away as it tears. So the first things that we're going to do is we're going to go to Command D, go into the scene settings and simulation, and let's turn the gravity to 0. I also want to go into the simulation tag, and I want to change some of these. So I'm going to leave the sub-steps at 20, but I'm going to change the iterations to 2, and I'm going to turn on some smoothing iterations. I'm also going to increase the dampening to 5, and I think I'm going to leave it like that. So let's go and press play again, and nothing should happen, which is what we want. It's usually good to press play when you're doing simulations, like beforehand, before you go too in depth, in case there's like some intersections, and you'll notice that instantly if there's intersections, because the geometry will start flying or doing weird things. Cool, so that is good for now. Let's go and add some wind. So I'm going to add a wind force over here. Let's just rotate it so that it faces the shoe. And let's go and change some of these settings. So I'm going to increase the wind speed to about 500. I'm going to increase some turbulence, maybe around like 10. And let's just make the frequency like 5, just so that there's some like variation in it. And let's see what that looks like. Cool. So I think that looks pretty good. It's covering the shoe and it's flowing backwards, which is what we want. So there are 2 ways that we can go about this. I'm going to keep it like this, where it's like flowing backwards, but if you wanted it to be a little bit more airtight and like connect onto the shoe, we can go into the surface over here of the cloth, and let's change this to something like 90. And you'll see that now when we press play, it'll kind of like shrink wrap to the shoe. So maybe this is the look that you're going for. You want it to be a little bit more tighter. At least this is how you would go about doing it. While we're in the cloth tag, let's go and change some of these settings. So I'm going to change the bend strength to about 50 and the stretchiness to about 10, just so that it bends a little bit more and can stretch a bit more. At least for me, this is what I liked. I'm also going to change this back to 100 because I kind of liked it when it was like flowing away behind it. I think visually it just looked a little bit better, at least in my opinion. Cool, let's just press play one more time and see what this looks like. We're getting a little bit more stretching, a little bit more bendiness, and I think this looks quite nice. Cool, so let's go onto our cloth over here and let's add a vertex map. Actually, wait, before we do the vertex map, let's just talk about tearing for a bit. So at the bottom of your cloth tag, there is this tearing section. So let's turn this on and see what happens. So if we just leave it at default over here, press play, you'll see that maybe there's some tearing. It doesn't really seem like anything's tearing, but what we can do is we can bring this down. So maybe let's bring this down to 100, and you'll see now what happens is that the entire thing tears apart. And that's cool. I mean, maybe that's the look that you're going for, but if you look at this, I don't know, it doesn't look very nice. It's all individual. If you wanted to tear into like ribbons, then maybe this is your way of doing it, but for what we're trying to do, this doesn't look very good. So I'm going to change this to something like 120, and let's see what that looks like when it tears. So the number that I'm using over here, this is just from some experimentation before the tutorial to see what worked for my purposes. But yeah, now you can see that we're getting some tears over here when like it stretches past a certain degree, and I like that because it looks a lot more natural. The next thing we can change is this thing called the tearing guide. So right now at 45, we're getting some tearing, but I want it to tear a little bit more and a little bit faster. So let's change this to something like 90. Let's press play, see what this looks like. Cool, so as you can see, we're getting more tearing, a lot more tearing than what we were getting originally, and I think that looks quite nice because, I mean, the whole point of this thing is to tear it. And look at that, I think that looks great. But right now, with the way that we're doing it this way, it's tearing, but we want to have a little bit more control over it. I mean, so actually, technically, right now, with watching this actually looks really cool without the vertex map. Actually, to be honest, now that I'm watching this, maybe you don't need to add the vertex map. I'll still show you guys with the vertex map, but I'm just saying this looks pretty cool. The way that it tears away like this. But yeah, right now, with the way that this tears, we don't really have much control over it. We can adjust these settings to get something that we want, but what I want is that in the beginning it starts tearing away a bit and then it slowly tears away the entire thing. So how we're going to do that and how we're going to have a little bit more creative control and art direction when it comes to this is that we're going to be using a vertex map. So let's go into our vertex map over here and let's add a linear field. Let's set this to +Z and make this a lot smaller. Oh my gosh. There we go. Make it a lot smaller. And let's bring it all the way over here on the Z axis. So let's go and put this into our tearing map over here. So another thing that we're going to get now that we're adding a vertex map is this min tear past. So this is just something that you can set. I think you need to mess around with it to find like the right settings, but for this specific one I'm going to be using 110. Yeah, to be honest, I think I should have looked into what it does. I think I just kind of messed around with stuff until it worked for what I was trying to do. Cool, so let's press play now and see what happens. Cool, so now you can see we're literally only getting tearing where there is the vertex map, and that's exactly what we want, because we want to be able to art direct this and tear it where we want, because tearing it the way that we had previously does look cool, but if you're working for a client, you and your client comes to you, says we wanted to tear at specific parts or from a specific side, you want to be able to art direct that and have control over it. Cool, so right now this is looking great. I'm going to go here and I'm going to add a shader field. So let's start with the shader field and let's set this to noise. Let's go into our noise and let's clamp these values quite a bit and let's find a noise that looks nice. So I like this one because it's just little patches, and I want that for the beginning of this animation. I want it to tear in little bits all over it, and then I'm going to use the linear field to slide over it and reveal everything. At least with the way that we're doing this now, you have complete control over where it tears and how it tears. So without using the linear field, let's see how this looks. Nice. Okay, so I'm just going to press play. Pause over here. Let's look at our vertex map, and you can see that where it's yellow, that is where it's tearing, which is what we want. We just want little tears in the beginning, and then we're going to use our linear field to create the full tear. So let's go back over here. Let's put our linear field on top, and we need to set this to, I think it's overlay. Is it? No, it's not overlay. Maybe it's subtract, multiply, max. There we go, max. Cool. So I want it to tear for a bit, and then maybe at around frame 15, I want this linear field to start moving. Cool. So let's set a keyframe of there, go to frame 90, and bring this here. And let's see what that looks like. Cool. So we're getting some micro tears throughout, which looks nice, but they're not too intense. And then now the linear field should start moving through it, and we should get a little bit more tearing in the front, and it will create this slow reveal. As you can see, as the linear field moves, it's breaking apart the front section over here, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so I think I'm quite happy with how this is looking. I'm going to cache this out to see what this looks like. Okay, awesome. It has done caching. Let's see what this looks like. Cool, so we get a tear and then it peels away, which is exactly what we want. I think for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to leave it as is, but I think if I was doing this properly, I would add a few more frames just so that it like flows off. But I think this looks really nice so far. We get to control how it tears, and we get these like mini micro tears. At the moment, it does look a bit blocky, but we're going to add a subdivision surface on it, and we're going to add some thickness. So let's just do that here, and then in the next part, we'll do the lighting and the camera. So to get rid of this like I don't know, polygon look of it, we're going to add a redshift object tag, and we're going to add tessellation. Cool. And now it's a lot smoother and it looks more like fabric. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to add a thicken modifier. And let's set this to something like 1. And now there's a bit of thickness to this, and that's what we want. Yeah, I think that looks quite nice. So the reason we add the thicken afterwards is that if we added it before this, it means that on each frame it's going to have to calculate the thickness, but now we can cache the object and thicken after the fact. So yeah, always make sure you add like the thicken after you've simulated. Cool, so I think this is where we're going to leave the tutorial for now, and in the second part we're going to be doing lighting and animation. I hope you enjoyed, and again, if you're interested in the project files, they'll be up on Patreon, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks again for always supporting me. I really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in part 2. Peace.